Packing for a cruise? Everyone knows to bring the usual stuff. A swimsuit, a toothbrush, some comfy sandals. But what about what's in this little bag? Or one of these? Truth is, there are lots of little items that can make your cruise go a lot smoother, yet most people don't think about packing them. That's why I've rounded up 15 things that you want to bring on your next cruise, and they all cost under $10. Now, one thing to note, I do have a full list of links where you can pick up these items in the description below if you are missing anything. And now, let's get to them. If you're a cruising veteran, then you know an outlet adapter is one of the most important things that you can pack. Now, it has gotten better on newer ships, but if you sail an older ship, many cabins, they have only one plug to charge your phone, your laptop, power a hair straightener, and everything else that requires a plug these days. So, bringing a small adapter to increase the number of outlets is a necessity. I like this compact one, and it only costs about $6 or $8. You plug it in, and it gives you 3 outlets where there used to be only 1. Just one tip, don't bring an adapter that has a surge protector, as they aren't allowed on the ship. Sure, you used to be able to cruise and leave your cell phone in the cabin, but these days you use it for everything, from the phone's camera to take pictures of your cruise, to downloading the cruise line's app so you have the schedules and the maps as you're going around the ship. That's not to mention using your phone to actually keep in touch back home. If you want to make sure that it stays dry while by the pool or on an excursion, then spending $8 on one of these from Amazon is the best investment you can make. If you're out and about and get caught in a rain shower, it's no big deal at all if you have one of these dry bags for your phone. Iron while on vacation? Like that's gonna happen. In fact, they don't even let you have an iron in the cabin anyway. If you want wrinkles taken out of your clothes, you have to send them to the laundry to be pressed. Instead, a cheap bottle of wrinkle release spray can easily do the trick without the hassle of having to get your clothes ironed by the laundry staff. Best of all, bottles like this, they only cost about $6 or $7, and they are small enough to pack on a flight. This way, you don't have to worry about wrinkles that your clothes might get from being packed in a suitcase for too long. No, you absolutely shouldn't bring so many shoes that you need a shoe organizer for them all. That would be way too much. But I've started to bring one of these on cruises with me, and it is a lifesaver. Cruise cabins, they are small and can get cluttered easily. With a shoe organizer, you can use the pockets to keep items tucked away and neatly organized. You put everything from your phone to toiletries to sunscreen, and you keep it out of your way while also knowing exactly where it is. Best of all, it's only around $10. Here's a secret that most people might not know. While you can't tell at first glance, the ceilings and the walls of cruise cabins, they are made of metal. That makes magnetic hooks like this one really helpful to pack. These hooks, they are cheap and they usually come in around a pack of 6 or 8. Each one is good for holding a few pounds. You put up a couple of these in your cabin and you have a great place to hang everything from swimsuits to dry to a hat or a lanyard or anything else. A few hooks, they instantly increase the amount of space you have in the cabin. From packing to keeping things dry, a few Ziploc bags, I like the gallon size, they can be a lifesaver. Keep a handful in your luggage and you put them to use organizing when you pack. They're great for keeping toiletries separate from other luggage, and the gallon size bags that I like, they can keep your dirty socks and your underwear from mingling with the clean stuff. As well, using a Ziploc to hold your phone and other important items is a quick and cheap and easy way to keep them dry. So be sure to pack 1 or 2 and you cannot go wrong. If you've never been on a cruise, then you might be surprised at how much you use your key card that you were given at the start of the trip. It acts as your room key, but also like a credit card for things purchased on the ship, and a boarding pass when you exit or return to the ship. In other words, you are constantly using your card throughout your trip. Instead of having to dig down into your pockets to find that card, many people, they bring a cheap lanyard like this one to keep the card convenient. Now, I don't personally use one, but tons of people do. and they're pretty smart when you think about it. There are also a ton of different styles available for less than 10 bucks. Everyone has stubbed your toe on a piece of furniture. That's why you know that you need a nightlight. Cabins, especially those on the windowless interior of the ship, it can get really dark once the lights are turned off. You combine that with an unfamiliar layout that you aren't used to, and it is a recipe for bumping into things in the middle of the night. The good news is a cheap nightlight like this one, these are 2 for $7. It's a must-have, and you can bring them on your cruise. You can also turn on the bathroom light and keep the door closed so that the light only comes from the bottom of the door. Even so, that can still be too much light for some people. It should be a rule that before you marry someone, you need to spend a week on a cruise ship with them. If 2 people can share a bathroom in a tiny cruise cabin for a week straight, then you know it is true love. To help you out, bring some air freshener with you. Or you might have heard about poopery, which is this stuff, which you actually spray on top of the water before you go. As an added tip, you can also scout out a public bathroom that's out of the way, for privacy, if you don't want to use the cabin toilet to do your business. Your cabin mate might thank you, especially if you don't have a balcony stateroom where you can get some fresh air. If you plan to drink on a cruise, I highly recommend that you bring on a bottle of wine or champagne. It's one of the few beverages that's alcoholic that cruise lines will let you bring aboard. This is an easy way to save some cash instead of buying wine at a bar on the ship. You can easily spend $7 to $10 for a single glass of middle-of-the-road wine on your cruise. Bringing your own is much cheaper. So if you do pack wine, be sure to put it in your carry-on in case it spills. As well, protect it with something like this. It's a $9 bottle protector for 2 of them to keep it from accidentally getting broken during boarding. Simply put your wine in and it's protected in this padded sleeve. While we're on the subject of wine, there's nothing worse than bringing a bottle, forgetting the corkscrew. Having to cut out a cork is no fun and it leads to spitting out those little bits of cork as you sip your wine. Simply throwing a cheap corkscrew into your luggage right now, this one's only a few bucks. It makes sure that you'll have one when it is cruise time. You can also just look for those bottles of wine that have the screw tops, but that may limit your options of what you drink. Everyone imagines getting some sun on the deck of the cruise ship, but few people actually think about the reality of what that entails. Being on a vessel that can cruise 20 miles per hour or more means there's a constant breeze when setting sail. And if you're trying to relax on a deck chair, the wind is going to be whipping at you and your beach towel. It can be far from relaxing. A few towel clips like these, they can be a big help, and you'll see lots of people that have them. They keep that towel secure so you don't have to fight it while trying to lay back and get some sun. These two, actually they come in a pack of 8 for about $6 or $7. They're worth their weight in gold. A little tip, if the boat gets rocky, there are often free seasickness pills available at guest services. A better tip, you are much better off bringing your own so that you have them at your disposal. Given that a pack, it only costs a few bucks, it is well worth it to bring them on board with you. Just toss them in your suitcase. The good news is that if you're worried about seasickness, you really don't have that much to be concerned about. Modern cruise ships, they are surprisingly stable. You may feel the water, but don't think that you're going to be rocking and rolling for the entire trip. Cruise ships, they're like hotels in that they provide guests with shampoo and soap in the cabin. Still, most of us, we have particular brands that we like to use at home. That's why some travel bottles like these, they're good to have. I picked these up at Target. In addition, small bottles, they make perfect containers for sunscreen so you don't have to carry around a huge bottle when you're in port or deal with carrying it through an airport. No matter where you get them from, they don't cost more than just a few bucks and are a must-have in my opinion. If you're headed into a port of call, then you won't be going empty-handed. From towels to a change of clothes to your phone, sandals, and anything else that you might need, the amount of stuff that you take into port, it quickly adds up. Bringing along a lightweight collapsible backpack is a lifesaver. So I bought this one. It goes into its own little pouch but then expands out. It's It's for less than 10 bucks, and it balls up to practically nothing to fit in your luggage. But you unravel it, it can carry plenty when you need it. And because it's so lightweight, if it does get wet, it dries relatively quickly. I also like that it zips up, unlike a regular tote bag. That's my list of inexpensive items that are great to pack for a cruise, and a lot of what I personally bring with me when I sail. Remember, I have the links in the description below if you need anything that I mentioned. But you likely have some great ideas that other cruise passengers would want to hear about. What items do you like to bring on a cruise? Let everyone know in the comments to help out your fellow passengers who are also watching this video. And for more tips on packing for a cruise, I put some links to checklists and more on Cruzely.com within the description of this video as well. Until next time, happy cruising!